critter you've got here?
Oh, don't you call him cute. This is a ferret. He's the biggest of the mustelids that we have here in New Zealand. And with him facing the camera there, you can see his beautiful teeth, perfectly made for hunting and killing. So I've got a wee version of him here. We use this at the zoo school at Arana, and we can show the children more about anatomy and how beautifully they are made for their job of hunting and killing. So if we take the wee skull out of the fur there, you can see he's got big teeth, and even way back, big molar-y type crunchy teeth as well. That's like the ultimate predator in mini. Well, not quite, because he may be the biggest version, but my thoughts are that the second biggest version is probably a little bit nastier. He's a bit quicker, and it seems to have that real feral streak going on, and that's your stoat. Now, this is a reasonably fresh one, actually, partially frozen still.
A bit stiff there.
Yeah, and this is an animal we actually trapped at Arana. We have a habitat restoration and pest eradication scheme going out there. We're a rural wildlife park, so these wee critters come in through the paddocks, and we have to control them too. But I think the stoat being a bit quicker, and it seems to be smarter and sneakier, especially female ones. So you tend to get a lot more stoat problems than you do ferret problems. But yeah, definitely something to be proud of catching there.
So do you catch them quite frequently?
I haven't caught one this season yet, but we're on about a fifth ferret at the moment. They seem to be, I won't say dumber, but they're just more inquisitive maybe, and go into trap boxes where these are really sneaky. So they're loitering around. We just haven't caught any yet. So it tends to be the young ones you catch as well.
Not wise yet.
Yeah, just a little bit sillier.
What's this you've got over here in this container?
Oh, in here, I thought you may want to see some actual hatched real blue duck eggs. So, it's not something everybody gets to see. I've got a couple of really quite special ones. This is a part one here, he's a bit broken. But you can see where the chick has actually come out. He's unzipped the egg, taken him many, many hours to chip around there, and is hatched. And of course it's neat to keep these for education for the kids and get them involved, but we also keep eggshells from our endangered birds' eggs should we need to repair broken or chipped or cracked eggs that we need to incubate. So if we happen to get in a blue duck egg that was cracked, we would use a piece of sterilised blue duck egg from another egg to seal it with a bit of nail polish and a few other little things, and we would still try to hatch that egg. And in a lot of cases it works. Yeah. So
who came up with that idea?
Well, I believe that one came from Rotorua, and the Kiwi Encounter people up there that have done so many hundreds of kiwi for Operation Nest Egg, and they've worked through all sorts of things like sticky tape and everything to try and save a kiwi. So we use techniques that they've learnt on kiwi. So it's a team effort once again.
It's good to see you all passing information on between each other.
Oh yeah, well, I think we talked about it before we went on air. Before, any question unanswered is unasked is a silly question. Anything asked is not silly because you found out the answer and it may help. But if you're scared that you may look silly because you don't know something, that is when you're being silly. Yes. And the last thing is just a banding kit, and I'm kind of going back to the glamorised type zookeeper thing. A lot of people think we spend a lot of the day hugging our animals and waving to the public, and that is a really nice part of our day.
Well, you've got to have some food.
Yes, but a lot of the time what we are doing is cleaning after our animals, which, yes, does involve picking up poo and scrubbing and preparing food and feeding the animals. But with native animals, it can be quite intense for breeding programs. Every animal has to be identified and weighed regularly. So we actually put leg bands on a lot of our birds. So I just bought in a wee banding kit, and I just thought I'd show you some of the different things here. This is the big banding pies, and we use these for brown teal, but they're also kiwi ones. They've got the big hole. If you have a look there, the big hole in it.
So that your leg goes in there or something? Or?
No. Well, these are brown teal bands here, and these are really hard to do because they're like hardened stainless steel because they're waterfowl. So the bands are in the water a lot, so they have to be really, really solid things. So you basically get your little band, pop it in your pliers, duck leg on, but it's not a matter of just, you've got to then turn it around, squeeze again, turn it around, make sure the band is round so it's not going to rub or be squashed on the leg, and then you've got to make sure the gap is closed so it can't get caught on a plant and the animal drown or something like that. And it's actually not an easy job, and men normally have a lot more strength in their hands, I find, than the little ladies to put them on, although I've met a lot of dynamic little ladies that leg bend very well. And then for all your smaller species, you've got the little pliers, and you can have teeny tiny leg bands right down to sizes like this.
Got numbers?
Yeah, numbers. And this is an A band. This is our smallest bands, and you would put them on silver eyes. Yeah, and everyone, if you have a real close look, has got a very tiny, tiny number on it. And they're identified for life then. You know, these don't normally fall off. Only way these can fall off is if the leg falls off. So it allows us to trace these animals for genetic purposes, in recovery programs when they're released, if their transmitter, if they lose it, which happens, they've got their leg band on for life. So if that animal turns up 100 kilometres away 5 years later, it can be traced back to where it came from. Yeah.
Must be quite interesting to see how they move around the country.
Oh, indeed. Certain ones disperse and others stay. Once again, I think up to personality and the amount they release and how old they are or what time of year it is. And so if you release juveniles at the right time of year, they tend to hang around for a while. But if you release adults at a different time of year, they're more likely to fly away. So a lot goes into it.
A lot of thought.
Yeah.
What are those colour things?
Oh, I've got bands for everything in here. These are black swan and Canada geese. So at Arana we do a small amount of bird rescue, probably not as much as we'd like, but when we rehabilitate an injured wild animal and we release it to the wild, oftentimes if it's a Canterbury native or a Canterbury local, we can release it on our grounds because we've got about 88 acres there. So we do not dock band them, which are the metal bands, because that may affect any study that DOC is doing in the wild, but we do colour band them. So if we see them around the park, we know that is X animal that we released 2 weeks ago. So we can catch up.
As well?
No, they don't, but I don't band many geese, and you've got combinations of colours. Some birds, if their big legs are the right size, you can put 2 bands on. So you've got all these combinations of colours, and then you've got combinations of combinations. So it can be green on top, white below, left leg, or white on top, green below, left leg, and then you've got the right leg, and then you've got all the other colours. So you can pretty much identify anything with colour band. And also in our own aviaries, it's all well and good having a silver band on, but as you may have seen, the numbers are really small. Yeah, so at a distance you want to be able to sometimes tell who an animal is, so you'd combine that with the dot band, which is we're legally obliged to have native animals banded if they're at the zoo, but on the other leg you'll put on little itty bitty colour band, so that's white right leg, so that's Bob, not to be confused with Mildred who's blue left leg, Yeah. So it does, it can be quite complex.